Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Probar 2D Creating Custom Rebar Shapes tutorial, part 1, where I cover the full workflow of creating custom rebar shapes in Probar 2D. So the reason why there would be an old interface and a new interface version is because with the latest version, what the idea is, or what's coming up actually, is that there will be a brand new interface for creating custom rebar shapes in Probar 2D. For now, that is not immediately available, and we can still make use of the older interface to create custom rebar shapes. So I'll be doing a set of part 1, part 2, part 3, etc., however many are needed to break these down into bite-sized chunks for you. So let's go to Probar 2D, or rather AutoCAD. I'm using AutoCAD 2024. And then if we look at the new interface, this is what the new interface looks like. And there will be an additional edit bar command or edit bar interface that will look very similar to this. For now, that isn't available. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with typing in a command. So PRKN, so it's Procon, PRKN, add bar. Okay, there's the command over there, PRKN ADDBAR. Then you can press enter. And this would be a familiar interface or dialog for most of you, for most of the Probar 2D users. And what we'll do from here is we'll click on our calculator and then edit mode, and this will open up over here. And this is where the custom rebar workflow starts. Okay, so it can get quite complicated. And one of the things that you can do to help is just to look at other shape codes and to see how these shape codes have been modeled. Okay, and as you cycle through them, you'll see that all of this will update. Okay, you can see there's a big update there with a lot of information here. And so if you're looking to create a specific type of rebar shape, you can actually look at all of these existing shapes and look at one that sort of matches yours more closely, look at what the inputs look like, and then work according to that. Okay, so just as a recommendation, because I won't be able to cover all of the different shapes that you can create and how you would create them. But all right, to start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to check the shape code 99s, what are the codes, and we will need to create a new code or override an existing code, okay, by deleting the shape code or whatever, yeah, whatever might be necessary. So I'm going to look at 99A, 99X, okay, 260, BO1, etc. So I'm just looking through these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 99Z, okay, because that shape code isn't there and I don't want to delete any of these existing shape codes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say type in the shape code 99Z, and the program will warn you, say the shape code is not listed in the current list. Okay, so then what I do is down here, you'll see this new shape code. I'm going to click new shape code, and basically we will be able to start from scratch. So the two most important things to start off with is not your points and nodes, but actually your vector list and your dimensions. And so important thing is to create your vector list, and this will be dimension A, B, C, D, and E. And the reason why we only go up to E is because that is what we have in our bending sketches. We have A up until E, and that is what we use in South Africa. If you want to add additional dimensions, so F and so forth, you'll actually need to create a new bending schedule. And to be honest with you, right now, I don't think that the file or the programming of Probar 2D will allow you to add an additional dimension F. All right. Okay, so we've got codes here. In general, it is worthwhile to just stick with code L for length. Using the X or Y, I haven't gotten any sort of benefit from that actually. So if you're looking at just creating an L-shaped bar, what we're going to do is we go add another dimension. We call this B, make its code L, and this will be 0.223. Okay, so nothing has happened here yet because we haven't updated the points and nodes table. And so if you look at these dimensions, one thing that makes it very easy, especially if you have maybe a bar that's bent in a C shape, is that you want to change these default values. So rather than 10 times diameter, you would want to make B 15 times diameter, C 20 times diameter, etc. And in one of the other parts, I'll delve into a bit more of the complex part of this. Saying complex, not meaning that it is complicated, but just relevant to what we're doing here in part one. Okay. So the reason why we want to change that is so that we can see some contrast in this window up here, because as you update this information, this window will update as well. Okay, so for now, I'm going to leave this as is. We've got 0.00, so we're happy with this for now, just for this particular example. We've got points and nodes, so we've got 0, 0, and we've got 0.2. And so basically, that is just the starting point, and this is how do you get from 0.1 to 0.2, and that is just with the dimension A. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, or rather this, I'm going to do 0 here, because there's nothing we're going to change in the X, but in Y, I'm going to put in B. Okay. And so actually what it would want then is this. All right, so it wants you to specify the X and Y coordinates. So you can actually see these as coordinate values. All right, so that's always very interesting to consider. Okay, so you're plotting point 0 there, or 0.1, which is 0, 0 in the X and Y. Then you've got 0.2. And how do we get there? Well, it's A in the X direction and 0 in the Y direction. Then we've got 0.3. How do we get there? Again, it's A in the X direction and it's B in the Y direction. Okay, so that's hopefully that helps you with just starting off with this custom rebar workflow. Once you're happy with that, you can always hit save and you can add a rebar sketch, which is very useful. So we haven't adjusted the cut length yet. So in this case, the cut length will be A plus B, and these cut lengths can get very complicated. Right, so in part 2, I'll discuss adding another leg here and making that leg longer than this section over here, adjusting the cut length, and then also adding radiuses or radii around these corners so that it looks just a bit more normal. All right, so thank you for tuning in for this particular episode or clip, whatever you want to call it. And I look forward to seeing you in part 2.